alaikum. Upcoming class alert. Upcoming class alert. Yeah, you heard right. We got an upcoming class alert taught by Ustada Laila Nasheeba. So stay close, because listen, it's going to be good. This series is the series on the Jinn. Please, you're going to want to listen and take some notes. Streaming on all major platforms. Once again, taught by Ustada Laila Nasheeba. Streaming on all major platforms. Channel Sunnahfollowers.
Rasulullah. Welcome to our Aqeedah class. And I'm sorry that I'm a lot late today, but alhamdulillah, this is the class whereas we discuss the basics of Islam, the things that every Muslim is supposed to know. This is the information that you need to know in order to get through the grade and make it into paradise. I tell all my new shahadas, this is a class that you do not want to miss. For this past Q&A show, one of the brothers asked me, how can he learn about Allah? And I told him, come to this class every day, because this is the class that teaches about Allah. This is the class that teaches about Allah's lordship. And if we do not believe in the lordship of Allah, then you can forget about being a true Muslim. Okay, you're not even a Muslim. So we have to be careful of where we take our knowledge and understanding of Islam from. And we've been discussing about the Jinn. And the reason why we're talking about the Jinn is because whenever I teach about the angels, I don't know why, it's just human nature, I guess. Questions about the Jinn always seem to come up. And the last time we met for this class, we spoke about how the jinns are another creation of Allah. They really do exist. We talked about how there's different theories about the jinn. For example, we have some Muslims who believe that the jinn are just microbes or something, that they're not real beings. What does Allah tell us about the jinn? Who can tell us? Who can explain to us? What does Allah tell us about the jinn? Anyone? Anyone? Get on the mic. Tell me what Allah tells us about the jinn. Anything that Allah tells us about them. Anyone?
That we get assigned jinn, at puberty.
Yes, we do. And what else about them that proves their existence? What does Allah tell us about them? Old shahadas that's supposed to know better. Good job, Sister Yasmin.
Yeah.
Allah tells us that the jinn are from the unseen world. And what does that mean? What does it mean, Latifa, that they are from the unseen world?
That they have no contact with us. But what I was going to say is there's good jinns and bad, or good jinns that obey what Allah says, and those that may not obey what Allah says.
Okay, exactly. We got some jinns that obey Allah and some jinns that disobey Allah. What else about them? Brother Merard says that they were created from fire. Good job. And Sister Yasmin said, when she says that it's from the unseen world, by the way, you're so beautiful, Yasmin. I'm so proud of you. Baby done grew up. Look how beautiful she is. Yeah, that's one of my peeps, you know. Alhamdulillah, like she said, it means that we cannot see them. That they can see us, but we cannot see them. What else does Allah tell us about the jinn? What else? They're created from smokeless fire. Good job. Now, about the smokeless fire. What is the view of Ibn Abbas and Ikrimah and El Hassan? Y'all know who El Hassan was? He was a grandson of the Prophet Muhammad. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. What do they say about the meaning of smokeless fire? What does smokeless fire mean? Based on the view of many of the original companions. What is meant by that verse when Allah says they were created from smokeless fire? What did Ikrimah? What did Ibn Abbas? What did the Prophet's grandson and many others, Mujahid and many others, say when they were asked what is meant by smokeless fire? Did they say what a lot of these brothers are saying on YouTube? I was listening to another brother. He's a famous personality, a celebrity. Y'all need to get rid of these celebrities. Celebrities of the hellfire, probably. Y'all need to be careful with these brothers. This is a celebrity, and he was saying that when Allah says that he created the jinn from smokeless fire, this means that that there's a part of the hellfire that's cold. And when the jinn go to hell, they will be put in a hellfire that's cold. Some of the fire turns cold. Is that what the companions understood that verse? Can anybody in my Zoom room answer that?
When they say the three companions, when they talked about the smokeless fire, it was the extremity of the fire. It was the purest form of the fire. So when they, from what they were saying, it was their view of it. It was like a fire unknown to humankind.
But hot. It's extreme heat,
Yeah.
not cold. That's why I tell y'all, be careful of these brothers. I'm telling y'all, these brothers be making up their own crap. And that's what it is, crap. When it comes to Islam, especially when it comes to Aqeedah, our understanding should be as the original companions. Your understanding of what it means to believe in Allah should match those companions, not these contemporary modern day Dawah brothers of today. Okay? They didn't mention anything about fire being cold. Ibn Abbas, El Hassan, Ikrimah, Mujahid and them, they said this is the most extremely hot part of the fire. It's the heat, the most hottest heat of the fire. Subhanallah. So be careful who y'all take that knowledge of Islam from. Okay, the purest, best part is the hottest part, not cold. When does fire get cold? Come on, y'all. All right. So that's more about the jinn. What else? Let me see what other answers we got here. They are stronger than us. Exactly. Good job, Israel. Some of the jinn can fly. We talked about that yesterday. Some of the jinn can fly. They have wings. And some of the jinn can move quickly about the earth. And good job, Mina. Just because we can't see them does not mean that you got some of these Muslims today that belong to the Mu'tazila. The Mu'tazila, they deny certain things about the jinn because that's not true.
The jinn also has free will.
That's what I'm waiting on. And the most important thing about the jinn is, so what does that mean when we say that the jinn has free will? What does that mean, Latifa? The fact that they have free will means what?
That they can make choices of what they do, what they believe, and what they accept.
And also what? Because of those choices. What else do they share in common with us?
That they will have to answer to Allah for their sins.
Yes, and that means either that they are going to go where? They'll be where in the hereafter?
Hellfire or paradise.
Exactly. So the jinn will either be in paradise with us or they'll be in hell with us. Because just like us, they have free will. So based on whatever choices they make in this world, you know, either they're going to spend eternity in hell or eternity in paradise. Good job, Nadia. They're held accountable. So these are the things I want you guys to know about the jinn. This is just particulars. And today what I'm going to do is speak about the jinn and their relationship to Iblis. And I'm going to answer the following question in today's lecture. There's a brother who sent me an email. I get them all the time. But there's a brother that sent me an email asking me, because I made the statement, which I will continue to make, that some of the companions believe that the jinn are, that the Iblis is the father of the jinn. Pay attention, young brother. I know you got your own website, your own Dawah channel, and you got 1 million subscribers, and you know you a celebrity. Learn your place, though. I'm older than you. I'm your grandmother. Difference between you and me, I don't speak without having dalil. So I want you to pay attention when you see this stream. I'm going to show you my evidence, okay? And maybe you will learn to respect the elders and listen to the elderly women and the elderly men who have been given dawah before you were even born, who learned from real scholars. I ain't talking about these brothers today that's sitting around with their little calling themselves sheikh. I'm talking about real well-known scholars who have died. Maybe you'll learn from us. So take notes. So let's put this up here. Put the PowerPoint up on the screen, because the kids are learning too. And also take screenshots of my PowerPoint so you will have the hadiths. If somebody tries to challenge you, get stuff up. If I tell you something, believe you me, one of those companions had to say it. If it wasn't Allah the Prophet, it had to come from. So take notes. All right, so let's put this here. Slideshow. Okay, can y'all see that? Okay, let me make this a little larger. Yeah, hold on. Oh, I'm sorry, people. I'm sorry. I told y'all I got a lot of computers going. Hold on. Where did I go? I'm stuck. I'm stuck. Oh, boom. My bad. All right. Let me make this a little larger. Okay, so tonight, guys, we're going to speak about Shaytan and his relationship with the jinn. We're going to speak about Shaytan. What do you mean? They saying the video is breaking up. Is the video breaking up, guys, on YouTube? Geechee.
Yeah, it's punchy.
What's going on? It ain't me, is it?
It's not yours.
just YouTube. Wait a minute, hold on. You good now? It ain't me because my internet says great. Hold on. Let me log in on. Let me log in on another platform too. Hold on. So I can see what they talking about. Let's see. It's not me, it's the internet, guys. It's not the internet, it's you, must be you too. It's not me, it's the internet, guys. It's not the internet, it's you, must be you too. Yeah, I sound clear on Telegram. It's not me, it's the internet, guys. It's not the internet, it's you, must be you. It must be you too, because it's clear on Telegram. People on Telegram say that they don't have any problems. Okay, let's get started. So tonight we're going to speak about Shaytan and his relationship with the Jinn. Okay? And let's put the PowerPoint up here. Now, Shaytan, which Allah mentions to us many times in the Quran, he too is from the world of the Jinn. He is from the world of the Jinn. He used to worship Allah at the beginning of his creation. What does that mean? When Allah first created Iblis, he used to worship Allah, and he worshiped Allah alone. And also, Allah allowed him to live amongst the angels in the heavens, just as he allowed Adam to. But then Iblis disobeyed Allah. When did he disobey Allah? When Allah commanded him to prostrate to Adam. But he refused due to his jealousy, his arrogance. And so Allah cast him from out of paradise, just as he did Adam and Adam's wife. So when we see the word Shaytan, this is an Arabic word, and it's a general word that is used in Arabic for any arrogant person who rebels, any rebellious or arrogant person. So sometimes you may hear a Muslim refer to a human being as being a Shaytan. You will hear somebody say, oh, he's just a Shaytan. You know, that person there is a Shaytan. What are they saying? They're not saying that he's Iblis in disguise. What they're saying is that's an arrogant, rebellious person. Okay? So if you hear somebody refer to another person as a Shaytan, they're basically saying that person's arrogant, that person's rebellious, that person's a troublemaker. Listen to what Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning. Those who believe do battle for the cause of Allah, and those who disbelieve do battle for the cause of Taghut. Taghut. So fight the minions of the devil, because the devil's strategy is weak. What is Taghut? Taghut, and I know it's Ga. I have a problem with that Ga in Arabic. Okay, why is Iblis referred to as a Taghut here? Because he has transgressed the limits. He's rebelled against his Lord. He tried to set himself up as being equal to Allah in worship. So Taghut, Taghut, Taghut refers to rebellious and arrogant. Okay, that's a rebellious and arrogant individual. And because of Shaytan's arrogance, because of his rebellion against Allah, he doesn't have any chance of mercy from Allah. And that's why Allah has named him Iblis, which means in English that he has no good in him. that it means despaired and lost. And I'm breaking this down because one of the new Shahadas, sister, what's her name? Oh God, she has an Arabic name too, Muslim name. I can't remember. oh, Sister Aisha. Yeah, Sister Aisha asked, oh no, Alima, I'm sorry. Sister Alima, thank you, Michelle. Sister Alima asked me, is there any chance that Allah would forgive Shaytan, since Allah is more merciful? And the answer is no, and that's the dalil. Shaytan has no chance of mercy from Allah, and Allah lets us know that. That's why Allah named him Iblis. Iblis means despaired and lost. Remember, I tell you guys, Arabic is a language. It's not a religion. It's a foreign language. Iblis means the one who is despaired, the one who is lost. So, because of his name, you can see that Allah will never forgive Iblis. So if you guys are watching those TV shows like Lucifer, that's one of my favorite silly comedy shows. There is no such thing as a fallen angel. Iblis was never a fallen angel. He was never an angel. He's Iblis. He's of the Jinn. And he will never be forgiven by Allah. And that show, Lucifer earns his wings and becomes forgiven. And all, no, that don't happen. That ain't ever gonna happen. He's lost, forever damned, forever lost. And whoever studies the Quran and the Hadith, they know that Shaytan is one of Allah's creations. You learn that he has a mind. He has the ability to understand. He can move around. He is not what some of the ignorant people say. He's not an evil spirit that takes the shape of the subconscious. Okay, he's a creation of Allah. We cannot see him, but he can take on the appearance of an animal. He can take on the appearance of an ugly human being. Okay, he can take on the appearance of a snake, of a rat, of an alligator. That's why I don't like those type of creatures. He can take on an ugly animal's form. Or he can take on the appearance of an old man, an old woman, a witch, a wizard, something like that. And again, without any doubt, Shaytan is the jinn. Now, let me share something with you guys. About 25 years ago, right here at Sunnahfollowers, is back when Sheikh Muhammad Saeed Atlee was the imam over this website. I was married to him, and he was the imam over the website. I'll never forget, we had a brother, a famous personality. He was famous back then. You don't hear about him much today because he's old. But he was in here teaching. He was teaching Aqeedah. And he made the statement that Shaytan was a fallen angel. And when he made that statement, I remember I had to correct him. I said, excuse me, no disrespect, but Iblis was not an angel. And the brother got very angry, you know, and I remember Sheikh Morsi came in. Sheikh Morsi was always the scholar over the website. He came in and they started speaking in Arabic. And Sheikh Atlee, after the brother left, Sheikh Atlee told me, don't let him come back to teach anymore. So I don't know what they said, what the words were with that the Morsi and Atlee gave to him in Arabic, but he didn't teach anymore. Okay, but he was of those people. He was of one of some of those past and modern Muslims who say that Iblis, you know, was not a jinn, that he was a fallen angel. And what is the dalil that they use? Because I do remember this brother trying to use this verse to me as the dalil. This verse here. And a lot of you guys, I tell you guys, when you read the Quran in English, you have to know the Fusha. Look at the meaning. Look at the wording in Fusha. And also you have to know the science of the Quran. You have to know the hadiths, because the hadiths explain the Quran. This statement here, where Allah says in the interpretation, the meaning, when we said to the angels, prostrate before Adam, they all prostrated except for Iblis. He was filled with pride, and so he became an unbeliever. That's the wording in English. So they'll use this verse and say the simple fact that Allah said except Iblis means that he was of the angels. They argue that if a group of angels accepts him, he must have been a member of that group. And this is what that brother that was on my website back then teaching was saying. And that's when Sheikh Morsi came in and corrected him. They were speaking in Arabic, and Sheikh Atli too. All of them, Sheikh Atli and Sheikh Morsi, were speaking in Arabic to this brother, I guess explaining it to him. But there's also, as you guys know, other verses in the Quran where Allah clearly says that Iblis was the jinn. He was a jinn. He was a jinn. Allah mentions that. Listen to what Ibn Kathir stated in his commentary of the Quran with that verse that so many of these brothers and sisters use to try to justify saying that he was a fallen angel. Ibn Kathir said these stories have been related by many of the early scholars. Most of them, of these early scholars, were from Jewish and Christian backgrounds, and they based it on Jewish and Christian legends, which should have been investigated. He says Allah alone knows the truth of most of those reports. Many of them are false because they contradict the truth that we possess, which is the Quran and the Hadith. Whatever the Quran contains is enough. And we don't have to delve into the stories of the Jews and Christians from before. Their reports have not been saved from changes. They have lied about many things, and they did not have trustworthy people to protect their writings as we have. Okay, so, but that's where that brother, he was probably one who followed one of those early scholars who believed that. Okay, but again, Allah is clear. In the Surah of the Cave, Allah says in the interpretation, the meaning, and remember when we told the angels, prostrate before Adam, and they fell prostrate, all except Iblis. He was of the jinn. Y'all see that? That's the clear verse. He was of the jinn. So he rebelled against Allah's commands. So based on this confirms, that Iblis was not an angel. And we already know from the other verses that we talked about in the other couple of days that the angels and jinn and humans are not the same. And also we have this hadith from our prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam telling us that the angels and humans and jinn are not the same. He says the angels were created from light, the jinn were created from fire, and Adam was created from clay. Now, that brings me to the question that many of the young Dawah brothers today ask. Where do we get this conception that Iblis was the father of the jinn? Well, This is true. There is no clear text from the Quran, nor is there any clear text from the Prophet Muhammad that states that Iblis was the father of the jinn. However, we have the opinion of Ibn Abbas and many of the other companions. They say that the same way that Allah created Adam and we are his descendants, and Allah allowed him to live amongst the angels to learn what Allah wants of him, Iblis was the first jinn created, and Allah allowed him to live amongst the angels to learn what was expected. So I didn't make this up. This is the opinion of Ibn Abbas. It's also the opinion of Ibn Umar. It's also the opinion of Qatada. And it's also the opinion of some of the early scholars like Ibn Taymiyyah. Y'all heard of him. This was also his view too. And he based it on what Ibn Abbas and those companions said. So that's where that comes from. But the answer to that question is correct. There is no clear text from the Quran, nor from our prophet. But again, your Aqeedah, our Aqeedah, you know, if some of the companions thought that, then you can't say that somebody's Aqeedah is messed up. Because you're saying that Ibn Abbas's Aqeedah was messed up, you got a problem there, bro. Qatada's was messed up, you got a problem. Mujahid, you got a problem. Sa'id al-Khudri, you got a problem. Okay, but they based it on their logic, you know, just logically thinking. Okay, so that's where that comes from. Now, the jinn and Shaytan, they share a lot in common with us. Unlike the angels, they eat and they drink. We have this authentic hadith in Sahih Bukhari, narrated by Abu Hurairah. He tells us that the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam one day told him to go get some rocks so he could answer the call of nature. Remember, they didn't have bathrooms back then. They didn't have toilet paper and wipes either. They used to wipe themselves with leaves and grass and rocks and dung, dried dung. So the Prophet told Abu Hurairah to gather him some rocks so he could clean himself because he had to answer the call of nature. And he told him, but don't bring me any bones and don't bring me any dung. And Abu Hurairah asked the Prophet, well, why come I can't bring you some bones and dung to clean yourself with? The Prophet said, because the bones of the animals and the dung of the animals, this is the food that the jinn eat. He said, a delegation of jinn came to me and they were very nice. And they asked me about their food. So I asked Allah that they would never pass by dung or bones except they would find meat upon them. So this is a picture of animal dung. Doesn't look as bad as you thought it would look. Y'all probably didn't know what that was. Yeah, you know, the jinn eat this. They can eat that. Okay? When that dung dries, people can use it to clean themselves with. It's just like a rock. Okay, but as you see him before the Prophet forbade it, the Arabs used to use the dried dung to clean themselves with. But now they don't. We don't. Also, we have this hadith where the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, do not clean yourselves with dung or bones because they are the food for your brothers, the believing jinn. Also, We have this hadith, Sahih Muslim from Ibn Masud. He tells us that a messenger from the Jinn came to the prophet and asked him to come with him. So the prophet went with him. And they wanted the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to read to them. Just so you guys know, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was not just a prophet for us, but he was sent to the Jinn too. In fact, all the prophets, they not only conveyed the message to the people of their time, but also the Jinn too. So we got some Jinn that are Christians. There are some Jinn that are Jews. There are some Jinn that are atheists. There are some Jinn that are Muslims. Okay? Because every prophet Allah sent went to the Jinn of their people too, to teach them, because they're held accountable like us. So the prophet would meet with the Jinn. And on this occasion, he met with the Jinn, and they complained about how they didn't have much food to eat. And that's when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told them, every bone on which the name of Allah has been mentioned will have meat on it for you. And the dung that comes out of that animal is fodder for you. And that's when the Prophet told the companions and the Muslims, do not use the bones of our animals nor their dung to clean ourselves with, because I may do it for the Jinn. The Jinn can come and gather the bones of the animals, and also that's whose Allah's name has been mentioned over, and also their dung, and eat it. So just as Muslims, we're not supposed to eat from any animal unless we slaughter it in the name of Allah. The Jinn cannot eat the meat, the bones, or the dung of an animal unless it's been slaughtered in the name of Allah too. Y'all see that? So, this is something important. Y'all understand that? I'm going to put that on the quiz tomorrow. The Jinn who believe in Allah, just like we only eat meat that we slaughter in Allah's name, they only eat the bones and dung of the animals that were slaughtered in Allah's name. All right. Also, when it comes to eating, the Jinn, they differ from us. When we eat using our right hand. Well, when the Jinn eat, they use their left hand. So again, we have to be different from them. Both of us as creations are held accountable. Both humans and jinns, we have our own fiqh regulations. The Jinn have their fiqh regulations, we have ours. But some of our fiqh regulations differ. The Jinn eat with their left hands. We use the right. And that's why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if one of you eats, use your right hand. And if you drink something, drink with your right hand, because Shaytan eats with his left and he drinks with his left hand. Be the opposite of him, because remember, he's Iblis. He's the damned one. He's the lost one. We don't want to do nothing like Iblis does. Okay? Also, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us, and new shahadas, pay attention, because like I told you guys, you want to learn how to be a Muslim? Not only am I teaching you in this class what it means to believe in Allah, but I'm also teaching you how to practice Islam. I'm teaching you the lawful, and I'm teaching you the unlawful. You are Muslims now. Do not eat with your left hand. If you are left-handed, train yourself to be ambiguous, however the word is, ambidextrous. I can't say it. You, like my granddaughter. My granddaughter, Jayla, she was born left-handed. She's ambidextrous now. She can use both. Okay. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever eats with his hand, his left hand, Shaytan will eat with you. That means your personal jinn. Oh yeah, we all got a jinn assigned. If you're eating food and you're using your left hand, your personal jinn is eating with you, because the jinn eat. Oh yeah, he's eating. Okay? And whoever drinks with his left hand, your personal jinn drinking with you too. So why are you feeding your jinn? Don't feed your jinn. Use your right hand, not your left. Also, we have this hadith. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if the man enters his house and mentions Allah's name when he enters it, he didn't say salam. Let me talk about this for a second to my new shahadas. I'm answering this question. When you enter the house, we don't say assalamu alaikum. That's Sufism. No. That's a hadith is taken out of context. The Prophet said, when you enter your home, say Bismillah. And then if there are people in the house, go and greet them so they know that you're home, so they won't think somebody is breaking in. I live by myself. When I enter my house, who would I be giving salams to? If anybody answered, you better believe I'm running back out that door. So we don't say assalamu alaikum when we enter the house. We say Bismillah when we enter the house. And then if you got your wife there, your kids or people there, say assalamu alaikum, I'm home. Let them know that you home. Okay? So let's take a look at this hadith again. Because again, people misconstrue these hadiths. So the Prophet said, if a person enters his home and mentions the name of Allah when you enter it, and you eat there, the Shaytan will say, there is no place for me here. There is no food for me there. But if you enter the house and you don't say Bismillah when you enter, that's when any jinns who are following you, and they are bad jinns, not good. Good jinns don't come near you. Any jinns that may have been following you, when they hear you say Bismillah, they say we can't enter there, nor can we eat there, and they'll move on. So again, a lot of you Muslims, especially my African sisters and my African brothers, y'all ask me a lot of questions about the jinn, because I know in your culture, everything is the jinn. If you're so afraid of the jinn, make sure you say Bismillah when you enter your home. That'll make sure that any jinn that may have been following you is not allowed in. And when you eat, say Bismillah before you eat. That'll stop your personal jinn from eating with you. Everybody got that? New shahadas, write it down too. Okay? And that's the source. This is Hadith and Sahih Muslim. So the jinn eat, the jinn drink. And like I said, the same way that we cannot eat any meat unless we mention Allah's name over it when we slaughter it, the same for the jinn. They can only eat the meat that from the animal who has been killed, whose Allah's name was mentioned over it. Okay? And I'm going to tell y'all something else too. One of the brothers here, I think it was Brother Timothy, he said that he goes hunting. Brother Timothy likes to go hunting, deer hunting. And he said that one time he was hunting and he came upon a deer that was already dead. Somebody might have shot it. He don't know. Maybe it died on his own. So he said when he went back to his mosque, he was telling his imam about it. And his imam told him that it's good that you left the dead deer there, because number one, we don't eat roadkill and we don't eat an animal unless we know how it died. And also he said that imam told him any animal that dies in the woods on his own, that's food for the devils. And so the brother asked me, Timothy asked me, was this man a Sufi or is this correct? No, he's not a Sufi. This is why some of the scholars think that meat like that, animals that die by themselves, are food for the devils, that the name of Allah was not mentioned on. So, any dead deer or any dead ducks or any dead birds that died on their own, the evil jinn eat them. The evil jinn eat them. Okay, the good jinn, the believing jinn, they eat off of our animals that we mention the name of Allah over. Okay, so I put that there because that's where that comes from. And also, Ramadan's coming up. We got a lot of new shahadas here that's still smoking. Y'all smoking them cigarettes? And I got a few that's smoking weed too. Y'all better cut that cigarettes and that marijuana out. Listen to what Allah says and the interpretation, the meaning. Oh, you who believe alcohol and intoxicants and games of chance and idols, they are all an infamy of Shaytan's handiwork. Leave it alone in order that you might succeed. There's your dalil that you can't smoke weed. For the brother that asked me, where's the dalil that he can't smoke weed? There it is, right there in the Quran. And also, one of the early scholars, Ibn Qayyim, he said intoxicating liquor, that's alcohol, and also intoxicants such as marijuana, opium, hash, LSD, whatever y'all get high off of today, fentanyl, I don't know. He says intoxications, they're the beverages of the devils. It is the drink that he orders and that his patrons drink. The jinn get high. The jinn smoke weed. The jinn do all that crap. Why are you being like the jinn, brothers? A lot of you got those dreadlocks in your head. How many times have I told you guys? I've given y'all the dalil. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, do not walk around with your head knotted up in knots. That's how the jinn walk around. The jinn let their hair grow and knot up in knots. That hadith is authentic. That's Sahih Muslim. Dreadlocks are haram. You are a Muslim now. Your culture is Islam, not Rastafarian. You ain't no Rastafarian. You a Muslim, dude. There's a tree that grows from the pit of hell called the Zakum tree. The Prophet Muhammad told us about it. And Allah tells us, what is the Zakum tree? Its shoots are nasty. And its fruit is like the heads of jinns. So you people got to stop this dreadlock crap. That ain't Islam. You better learn. Is your allegiance to Allah or is it to Rastafarian? Allah hates ugliness. Allah hates filth. Allah doesn't want us imitating the evil jinn. The Prophet Muhammad said, anyone who has hair, let him comb through it. Comb through it. comb through it and oil it regularly. Cut them nasty dreadlocks out of your head and stop running around looking like a jinn and try to emulate the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So these are just some of the things that the jinn and Shaytan share in common with us. Nothing like Jibreel. Okay? Shaytan eats, he drinks, he uses his left hand, he puts his shoe, he walks around with one shoe on and one shoe off. Okay? He's ugly. Shaytan has horns. I'm going to go over all this. Shaytan has horns. Shaytan's hair is in dreadlocks. Y'all better stop that dreadlock crap. And you wonder why your life is so bad. You can't even keep a job. Who's going to hire somebody looking like that? That's nasty. All right. Okay, so I'm going to stop right here.